Thoreau was a Harvard graduate who, along with his brother, managed a middle school. In 1842, his brother, while doing carpentry work, accidentally cut his hand. Initially not taken seriously, it led to tetanus. Thoreau's life took a sharp turn with the sudden death of his beloved brother. This event deeply affected him and compelled him to delve into profound subjects like friendship, spiritualism, society, and nature, which ignited his passion for writing. Subsequently, Thoreau embarked on a 2-year journey of isolation, from July 4, 1845 to September 6, 1847, living in a self-built cabin on the scenic shore of Walden Pond. Though the cabin was modified in recent times, it still retains the essence of his original creation, being roughly of the same size. Interestingly, the woodland surrounding the pond was actually purchased by none other than the great philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson, who is revered as the Confucius of America. A spiritual mentor and close friend of Thoreau, Emerson, being wealthy, bought the land and allowed Thoreau to build his house there. During his 2 years and 2 months at Walden, Thoreau completed about half of Walden. We must emphasize Thoreau's relationship with Emerson. Emerson, a transcendentalist, greatly influenced Thoreau. The philosophy Thoreau experiences and depicts in his book is also a form of transcendentalism. What is transcendentalism? It holds that people can intuitively grasp truth without relying on science and logic to do so. After its publication, Thoreau's book skyrocketed in popularity. Let's briefly introduce a few of its famous admirers. Leo Tolstoy, Mahatma Gandhi of India, Martin Luther King Jr., Ernest Hemingway, etc. Emerson praised Thoreau as the American lion. I particularly enjoy a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which I believe many artsy youths would appreciate. The author traveled around on a motorcycle, healing himself, carrying only one book, Walden. Wherever he went, he'd read some paragraphs of it and find solace. Next, let's immerse ourselves in Life by Walden Pond and experience what transcendental living is like. The longest chapter in this book is the first one, titled Plain Life. We must start from the very first sentence to truly grasp Walden. I lived alone, in the woods, a mile from any neighbor, in a house which I had built myself, on the shore of Walden Pond, in Concord, Massachusetts, and earned my living by the labor of my hands only. I lived there 2 years and 2 months. At present, I am a sojourner in civilized life again. From the beginning, Thoreau expresses sympathy for the lives of ordinary people. He says, I see young men, my townsmen, whose misfortune is to have inherited farms, houses, barns, cattle, and farming tools. For these are more easily acquired than got rid of. It would be better if they had been born in the open pasture and suckled by a wolf. The allusion comes from Romulus, the founding lord of the city of Rome, where the 2 Romulus brothers were raised by wolves, that they might have seen with clearer eyes what field they were called to labor in. Who made them serfs of the soil? Why should they eat their 60 acres, when man is condemned to eat only his peck of dirt? Why should they begin digging their graves as soon as they are born? They have got to live a man's life, pushing all these things before them, and get on as possible as they can. I have met so many poor immortal souls well nigh crushed and smothered under its load, creeping down the road of life, pushing before it a barn 75 feet by 40, its Augean stables never cleansed, and 100 acres of land, tillage, reap, pasture, and lumberyard. The portionless, who doesn't struggle for such unnecessary inherited encumbrances, find it tiring enough to reclaim and cultivate a few cubic feet of crops. Thoreau's perspective differs greatly from ours. We aspire to inherit wealth and land, but he believes these things burden us. The mention of Augean stables refers to the 5th labor of Hercules in Greek mythology, cleaning the Augean stables. This stable housed 3,000 cattle and had never been cleaned. How did he see it? Thoreau said, I think that we may safely trust a good deal more than we do. We may waive just so much care of ourselves as we honestly bestow elsewhere. Nature is as well adapted to our weakness as to our strength. Some people have just enough religion to make them uneasy and nervous. It is almost an incurable disease. We naturally exaggerate our self-importance. How vigilant we are! We are determined not to live by faith if we can avoid it. All day long on the alert, at night we unwillingly say our prayers and commit ourselves to uncertainties. So thoroughly and sincerely are we compelled to live, reverencing our life and denying the possibility of any change. We think that there is but one way, but there are as many paths to life as there are radii that can be drawn from the center of the circle. Countless changes is a miracle when you think about it, but it is a miracle that happens every moment. Confucius said, "Hold what you really know and acknowledge what you do not know. This will lead to wisdom." When a man turns his imaginary facts into understood facts, I can foresee that all people will build their lives carefully on the basis of it. Thoreau aimed to awaken us with his words, suggesting we don't have to conform to societal norms blindly. Just as many different radii can be drawn from a single center, there are countless ways to live. So, there's no need to chase what others pursue, and you should find your own path. His core idea is that in life, we only need to satisfy our basic needs of heat. Why do we earn money? To eat. Why do we buy clothes? To stay warm. Why do we buy a house? To shelter us from the cold. These actions all serve to maintain heat. Once you calculate how much heat you need in life, earning that much is sufficient. The rest is surplus.